I gotta say, first of all, it's nothing like how I expected it.
Did you have
to
the
be.
volume? Turn it down maybe a little bit.
I didn't expect it to be that at all. That's not what I expected. I expected it to be more like a story, not like you're watching this segment of film or something, right?
Yeah, you mean like, you mean you didn't expect it to be in real time?
Kind of like we were the audience type thing. And I don't know if that like caught me off guard, but it's just I don't know. Maybe I don't know.
I don't know if I liked it or not. I don't know because like I feel like so I didn't know anything about this movie. I didn't know anything about what was going to happen, or like all I knew was the summary on Letterboxd. But I think it was super interesting to have an in real time, like as if it were footage from an abandoned talk show.
Sure.
But I don't know. I mean, the special effects were horrible. They were just truly bad. They were really bad.
I think that you really don't appreciate that until the very end, when it's mostly used. Like the beginning was, it was kind of like the whole build up to the end, and the end just doesn't really pay off as much as you'd like it to. And in the midst of like the special effects too, the end part was just like, you know, not good, obviously.
I thought that, so like her having this like electrical sort of effect applied to her, like I thought looked terrible. But at a certain point, whenever she is like this creature with its head split open, there was a part where I was like, this looks kind of cool, actually. Like, like there was a part where I was like,
yeah,
this is now that they have stopped. I felt like it was a more tractable for them to do something with that. But I thought that getting to that point and people flying over the studio and all kinds of weird effects, I thought was just lunacy. It just didn't look very good. Didn't look very convincing. But once it was just like her just standing there, I thought it was kind of an interesting effect that they were applying.
Like, I think it's not done that. I don't think it's done very often where it like takes you by surprise, but I liked it. I like that part.
It can't get past a lot of its tropiness. There's so many tropes.
I was just gonna say, like,
little girl who speaks in like a creepy voice has got like you mentioned, like she's got a weird name for her for this like thing that possesses her. She's got you've got somebody like a caretaker who's trying to bring out the demon. She like there's so much tropiness. Then they've got the sidekick who's like, I really don't think we should be doing this. Blah blah blah.
That kind of goes like with the characters. Like, do you think the show had good characters? Like, did you like how they were portrayed?
See, here's the thing: is like I felt like it's incredibly corny, but it's not trying to not be corny at the same time. Like it's super cheesy and it's super goofy, and yet it like kind of fits with what the movie is. Now, I mean, all that said, like, I didn't really care for it that much. I think it's extremely tropey. I think that it's got some cool ideas, as in like a real time. Like you're watching the audience and also the behind the scenes footage of the show, but I don't feel like it's executed well.
No, I agree. I think I was kind of saying this during the movie too, was like, I remember the you know, they kind of make it seem like you're watching old found footage, but you see a lot of the backstage stuff that is clearly edited for you to appreciate. Like, otherwise, you know, like it's what they call that. They call like exposition. Like, you have to hear it to understand the story. Like, if you don't hear it, then you won't understand. It's like, so they kind of had to like not.
Are you talking about the stuff at the very beginning, or the stuff that's like in between?
Just like in between, yeah, right. The in between stuff, like you go, and the beginning also
I mean,
led you
the
to
beginning
believe there
definitely
was...
has to be there because, like, otherwise you don't know anything about this guy. You
Yeah.
don't know anything about his life. You don't know
Right.
anything about what they're doing. Although, like, there's a part of me that thinks maybe it would have been more interesting if that stuff wasn't there. Like, would it have been more interesting if, like, they didn't try to, like, tenuously tie back to, like, oh, but remember, he's in this creepy cult, so we got to kind of go back to that. Like, part of me thinks, what if it was just some guy who was just desperate for a show to be not axed?
But even at the end, that doesn't really it doesn't really change anything about him at all. Like, you don't know what his role with that was.
No.
Like, he drank from this cup at the end in front of the cult members, right?
Right. And it's like, what is that? It's like tropey 1970s satanic panic stuff. Like, there's people, they wear these cloaks, and they drink weird stuff.
And they're high political figures.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, so, but it's weird because it's like, in a way it fits because that's kind of the 70s sort of trope. But in another way, it's like, I've seen this a million times. Mm-hmm. I don't know.
I think because I did see that they had a budget of $150,000. I think considering the budget, it's pretty good, but like the story itself goes from it's very tropey, like you said. It's very expected. It doesn't leave me thinking. It doesn't make me want. I'm not going to think much more about it. And maybe that's the point. I don't know. It might be the point of the movie, but I think the part at the end where the TV goes to static and then you see like an image of the demon, I'm assuming is what it is.
Yeah.
Approach the screen. To me, especially watching it on a 16:9 television when it's shot in 4:3, it kind of loses like the immersion. Like, I think they're trying to like break the fourth wall with it, and it comes off way too like disingenuous, like just cheesy, goofy.
Yeah.
And that's why some of that kind of ruins the scare for me.
I think the way I feel when I see movies like this is like they're throwing a lot of spaghetti at the wall. Like, that's how I feel like they
That's funny.
I feel like that's what a lot of these do. Like, I really think it could have been stronger and more interesting by pulling it back, by being a little reserved, by not having this big intro sequence where it's like, but he was in a cult for a period of time.
Yeah,
and
his wife
don't worry,
died,
that will come back to that. And it's like,
yeah.
it would have been more interesting to me if it was like just some guy who was desperate to make sure that his show wasn't taken off the air. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Like, I think that it could have done. I don't know. If they could keep the crazy effects. I still don't think they look good, but I think that like
fits the.
I think that the actual plot could have been a little bit more reserved and been better. Yeah,
I think the pacing was it's like very slow, but then also very abrupt at times. Like, it's segmented like the show. You know, you talk about like the person, you know, the guy at the very beginning, what was his name? Whatever, Chrisu. What was his name?
Oh yeah, Christu.
Anyways, so anyways, like he dies, right? Mm-hmm. And it's just like supposed to be meaningful. It doesn't mean much. The only thing you get out of his interaction with the main character, the protagonist, I guess, was that he called his wife Minnie. And that whole segment, remember, it took like 30 minutes. And I feel like it didn't add to the story. It added to like a sense of like something's going on, but you didn't need that to be spoon-fed to you because we're watching a movie that intended to be scary anyways.
Yeah,
like I just didn't like that. It's too obvious. They don't make you. It's just way too obvious.
Yeah, I think that it's like, I don't know. It seems like with a lot of movies like this, they've got like this checklist of like, have we done this part? Okay, yes. Have we done that part? Yes. And like you get to the end, and it just seems like desperate ideas kind of thing. Like at the end where it's like they're static and it's like they can't help themselves. Yeah. It's like they're static and it's like, well, we can't just go to black. We've got to show a demon face in it. It's like they can't help themselves. Yeah. It's like you don't need to do that.
Yeah, I think if you had a really good story, I don't think you would need that sort of like, oh, did you not realize this is a demonic possession?
Yeah, it's just like And I mean, it doesn't add anything. Like,
Right.
I don't
Yeah.
at home think like, oh, I'm next.
Yeah.
Like,
I think that's kind of what if you read I forget what the premise is like on Rotten Tomatoes, or even like you search through iTunes or whatever. It's like you don't really get that people at home are at risk for as they had intended. Like, it makes it seem like if you watch this, it's gonna hurt. It's gonna possess you nationally. That's what it was. That's
it kind of comes off as like a creepy pasta. You know what I mean? Like a visual creepy pasta. And it's like
that's pretty good. Yeah, that's funny.
I don't know. I'll put it this way. It's like I thought the underlying idea of let's do a real-time talk show as if it was the last episode was really interesting. And I think that everything wrapped into it is just like it needs some reservation. It needs some like, I don't know. But and here's the other thing, and this isn't fair to the studio, but I swear every time I see Shudder, I just think, uh-oh, this is going to be a desperate sort of like throw everything at the wall kind of thing. Yeah. And I mean, and then like how many studios had worked on this?
I think that's what we said.
A lot of hands in that pie.
Yeah.
Like
we were kind of
like 12 different studios.
Yeah, we're kind of joking about if there's the next one's gonna be, we're just gonna turn it off if there's one more. And I swear when I said that there were still like 4 more to go.
I mean, it's like I don't know. I'll put it this way: it's like I always like a movie that is like unashamed to be like, look, here's our idea.
Yes,
we're just gonna throw it out
totally agree. Yes.
Like, so there is part of me that's like they could have done better to be more reserved, but then there's this other part of me that admires them for being like, look, we're just going all out. It may not look all that great, but we're just gonna go for it.
Yeah, I think they, it was kind of teasing the line between like, we're gonna make this, and maybe it's because there's so many studios working on it. Like, it was maybe too intentional of trying to be like an actual like super duper AAA whatever film, versus like a tropey B flick horror that embraces that, idea and runs with it. Like, to me, it felt like a cut between both, and I think that they couldn't find like the personality of the film.
I think what I always consider in a movie like this is like, is the degree that does the movie take itself as seriously as the message it's giving?
Yeah.
And I feel like there's a lot of times where movies try to take themselves very seriously, but the actual thing that they're portraying is so laughable. Like, and I kind of feel like with this movie they did a pretty good job of like, we take ourselves seriously, but not all that seriously.
Yeah,
and that's kind of what
fair.
that's kind of what came out the other end. So I feel like it was proportionally as serious and goofy as I could expect from a movie like this. But take for instance, like, I don't know, I'm trying to think of another movie that's like the Nicolas Cage Wicker Man.
Yeah.
It's like you feel like it's trying to take it so seriously, but it's so laughably dumb.
Yeah,
that you just can't see eye to eye with.
And I think you're talking about like Cocaine Bear is a good, obvious
it
B
doesn't
film
take itself seriously.
Right. But it turned out to be actually a enjoyable, and I'm not going to say it was a good movie by any, I wouldn't say it was good, but it wasn't bad, right? It just embraces.
Well, it's proportional to like what it's trying to do.
Yeah,
like
the goals, right? Their goals.
The movie is silly. It's not trying to make you
be afraid of bear.
It's not converting you to your religious belief or something. It's just trying to be. It carries a consistent line.
Yeah, I feel like it's entertaining, right? That's the point.
And I will say, like, I feel like it did a pretty good job of like leaning into the 70s, leaning into this satanic panic sort of idea.
Yeah, I feel like that's true. That's a good point.
So here's probably the closest comp I could make to this movie, but not as good. I think the movie Grave Encounters reminds me of this because it is like, it's sort of about a TV series that's desperate to keep going. and it doesn't take itself too seriously.
Yeah.
But it kind of shocks you at like how decent the actual flick is.
Yeah.
Like I actually feel like, oh, that's pretty good. This doesn't quite hit that, but it's
kind of similar.
Close.
Yeah.
It's close to that.
I will say what it did well. We were chatting about this, and I remember during the movie the hypnosis scene where you are inclined to believe that this stuff is really happening, and like the music was I feel like things like that in the background that you don't see, like the background noises of the audience panicking, like, you know, and the laughing that could make you feel like it may be faked, but they made you feel like what you felt the guy felt, Gus, the side stage guy, you feel like you felt his panic of, oh my God, there's worms coming out of my neck and I have to open up my chest or my stomach to empty these worms. And it was like, oh my God, is this part of the show? Like, this is rad. But, you know, and you know, the whole thing is that it was faked, right? And then, you know, it kind of cuts back to being normal and you see him in a position of whatever, vulnerability with his shirt off or whatever. I felt like it did that very well in a way I've not seen before done in like in a movie, you know.
I do think like so the things I thought were like extremely dumb were like, gosh, I mean, the whole like this young girl's possessed and she's speaking in a deep but not deep voice at the same time she's speaking in a normal voice is like, boy, have you seen that a billion times?
Yeah,
like that
it's
is
not
like
unique.
Like that was probably one of the dumber parts of the movie, and then she kind of floats, and it's just like if you've seen a movie about this kind of stuff, you've probably seen that in every movie, and even parodies of that movie, But I do genuinely think that one of the scarier parts of this movie, which I didn't think there were that many, honestly, but I do think it was pretty. I'll put it this way: it's like I did not expect the way that she looked during this movie. If you were like, "Hey, how does this person who you seemingly possessed kill everybody?" Yeah. The way that she ends up at the end of the movie, I was like, "That's not what I was expecting." Yeah, that was actually pretty interesting.
Yeah. I think there's a good part of like when you don't expect something. I think we tend to like things like that more because they're unpredictable. Part of horror, I think, is the unpredictable parts.
Like she looked almost alien.
Yeah, I thought that was I don't think I've seen something, and I'm not going to say goofy because I honestly agree. Like I think her looking very like alien-esque, her head splits open, and then it's obviously very demonic, I guess is what it is. It's not, but the colors you see, I mean, this is just more like the artsy part of it. It's like purple, blue, right? Like spacey. Like it does feel more alien-esque, but unexpected. And you're like, oh, and what I was thinking was that, oh, this is part of the hypnosis. Like, there is no way she just literally snapped Gus's neck. There's no way that she used the doctor's necklace to slit her throat. And there's no way that she burned... Crazy. There's no way she burned the skeptic guy, the velvet suit guy, and you're like, this has to be fake, and then it turns out it just wasn't, and that, I think you're right. I didn't expect any of that.
Yeah, I thought that was. I mean, I think that like, given all the laughable sort of special effects, I thought that was really cool to see the like, because if you said, okay, like, I'm gonna describe a movie where the girl who's possessed kills everybody, what does she look like at the end? And you're probably like, she's green, she's puking a little bit, she's got scraggly hair, she's got, weird makeup.
She's a witch.
Yeah,
literally just a witch.
She's got her clothes get tattered. Yeah. Like, and what kind of sucks is like, during the little like interview with Satan kind of bit, that is what she looks like.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. And then towards the end, when it's like things just like they pop off, and it's like she doesn't look like that at all. She looks like a television. Yeah, she looks like a TV, like cracked open. And it's like I thought that was a pretty interesting, and like I kind of wished they would have hovered in that area as opposed to like spooky cults. Like I just thought that was like you've seen it a million times.
I think I missed it. Like I don't know why, but like she got possessed So they were talking about the satanic ritual that occurred with what's Diablo, and this house that they were in was on fire.
Yeah,
and then
it had burned or
and
something.
then she was the lone survivor, and she happens to be possessed after that, which this poor girl, and then we know at the end of the film she gets stabbed. It's like she lived a terrible life.
Yeah.
I just feel very bad for her, but also the very beginning when you first meet her, it is the corniest. Again, I hate overusing the trope. She's staring
exactly what you expect.
Yes, she's staring at the cameras. She's giving a weird, awkward smile. She doesn't behave normally, and it's very obvious that there's something wrong with her. I mean, granted, she comes with this doctor person, but also she's just weird. Like she comes across like a homeschooled kid and doesn't know how to interact with like normal like human. I don't know. I feel like it was just way too obvious.
I think, I don't know. Like when I think about this movie again, like, you know, in months from now, if I'm thinking about this movie, I think about what kind of reaction am I going to have? And I think I'll probably laugh. You know, like I'll be like, oh my God, that was the movie.
Yeah.
Where
her face splits open.
Where like, you know, electricity's going everywhere and the theremin is going and like I don't think that my reaction will be like, wow, they did something really perplexing and interesting and like off the beaten path. I don't think I'll feel like that. And maybe they weren't going for it. Maybe it's like, you know, whatever. Maybe that's just not what they were trying to do.
I don't know how much money you can set aside for like filming, but I feel like $150,000 is pretty modest, which is apparently this film's budget. I mean, but I feel like they did a pretty dang good job of like coming up with a subject matter that was at least entertaining. I'm not saying it's good. It was entertaining, and the effects were like, you know, appreciated enough.
As good as you can get for the budget.
Considering, it's not multi-million-dollar, and it's got a ton of acclaim on Rotten Tomatoes at least. And
I don't know if these actors are like well known outside of this, and maybe like if I saw them in another movie, they wouldn't be as good. But I thought for a movie that takes place in the 70s and they're acting on a variety show, I thought they were pretty good. Like, I thought everybody seemed extremely believable, even if they were tropey. They seemed very believable. Yes. They seemed like very well within the parameters of what their character was supposed to be.
The timeline, too,
So, I don't know. Like, I think they did as much as you could with that budget. Mm-hmm. And I'm not so sure if you gave another $150,000 if the effects would have made me be like, oh, that was really good.
Yeah.
I don't think even, you know, another, you know, order of magnitude better of special effects would have convinced me that like, oh, this was great. Mm-hmm. It just, I thought it was okay.
Yeah. So I think at the end we need to give it a rating of sorts.
Okay.
Like I think that maybe we stick to the 0 to 5. I like the 5.
Yeah, so, I'm gonna say, I don't know. I'm gonna say 2.
2?
Yeah, it's not horrible, but it's, you know what? Maybe not 2. Maybe I'd say 2.5 because I think they maximized what they had.
Yeah,
but it just didn't. It just didn't do that much.
I think I lean more favorable for most movies, and I understand like there's a lot of work, and I'm not saying that the work goes underappreciated for horror flicks, but I was kind of leaning. Most of the film, like I'll go like in between, like a 2.8. Like
so you're not just doing like 2.5.
No, I would if that changes your opinion or your vote.
I would still say 2.5. I'll probably stick with half, but like I'm gonna say 2.5 because look, that's perfectly average. Mm-hmm. That's an okay movie. Like it's worth checking out. Maybe you'll like it, maybe you won't. But I
think 2.8. I give it a bit more because it kind of leans on the fence of like it understands it's quirky but I feel like it also was trying to be the movie it wasn't. Just too I don't know, unintentional about like and like, oh, don't forget about this. Like it's like spoon fed, and I don't like that. I don't like that, you know, like, oh, don't forget there was a lot of satanic panic in the 70s and there was cults and they live in California, and wasn't there like they're doing a show in France, and then they said something about like
something.
I feel like there was some like some like continuity issues that to me just doesn't make it excel, and that might be really just, I don't know. I feel like maybe that's a little too verbose, but 2.8, I think that it earned that, and I think it's a good movie. I don't think it deserves a 91% on Rotten Tomatoes at all.
No, well, and I think Rotten Tomatoes is difficult because I think it's like, I think the way that it works is like, did you like it or not like it? And if you liked it, you get a tomato. If you
I guess
if you
that's
don't,
true.
you
It's
get the,
based on like
so
critics
it's like,
too.
It's not necessarily a good percentage based tool, but I don't know. I would say that it was interesting. I think I'm glad I saw it, but I also don't think I walked away being like, oh man, they really maximized the material they have.
Would you watch it again?
No.
Okay.
I wouldn't.
Yeah.
I don't think a rewatch would grant me anything I didn't already get the first watch. Unless like I start perusing through like reviews and people are like pointing out things that like I totally missed.
Maybe
I don't know. I don't think that a rewatch would grant us any new perspectives that weren't already there.
Yeah.
It just seems like a lot of plate spinning that doesn't really have a whole lot of satisfactory answers for stuff.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Enjoyable.
Yeah, check it out.
Yeah.